So I came back home from practice and saw my brother all laid up, and that did something to me because I wasn't there to protect my brother. That's my job. And so I went to try to find out who these guys were. The one thing led to another. It was a disciple neighborhood in Castle Point, but it wasn't, the disciples didn't do this to my brother. It was just some guys called GTO or something like that, Gangsters Take Over, and got them, found them, and did what I had to do. So the disciples heard about it, and some of them saw what happened in the street because back then there was no social media. It's just word of mouth or phone calls back then.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I started hanging with some of the guys because they play ball. It's kind of funny how we had related. So I was like looking for a brotherhood. I got my little brother, but I was still looking for that brotherhood as a whole. And if you was on the outside looking in by me hanging with them, you would already assume I was a disciple, but I wasn't. I was just a ball player that liked hanging with those guys, and I liked the brotherhood that they had. And then one thing led to another. Got into an altercation with somebody from school, and it got real ugly, and I banged my way into what I had to do to him. It started with the hands. We had long curls back in the day. It's hot. You get curl activated using your eyes.
Right.
And so I beat him with my hands. So somebody threw him a pole, and one of my homeboys threw me in my back. So I started twirling it, cracked him up, beat him pretty bad. And that was my introduction of them blessing me being a disciple. And that was in 1988, the summer of '88.
Wow.
And, but I'm still a baseball player. So I'm living in two different lives in one body. So I kept going up in the ranks from a foot soldier to a tall to an enforcer. And the next thing you know, I had the top division of who I was as a gangster, and it was called governor. I governed the whole state of Missouri from 1992 to 1994. Over 4,000 members from the Boot Hill Sites and all the way to Kansas City, Missouri. And but I just lived that life and did a lot of dirt. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not no angel, so this is not about me trying to plead the fifth on things. Because when you see this documentary, man, my baseball life, my softball life, my gang life, and my personal life all gonna meet together at once, and it's just gonna blow up, man.
You know what? So we're gonna talk about that a little bit later, man. But as you talk about the division within the baseball or the softball and the gangster life, what similarities did you see in it?
Oh, teamwork, togetherness. Follow, if you can't trust the guy in front of you, then you got to replace him because you can't have no weak link in your armor.
Mm-hmm.
And I took a lot of stuff that I learned from baseball and brought it to the GD, when it comes to hand signals and stuff like that. Like a third base coach does this to his batter. Right. So I brought that to the disciples, and it came in handy. Even though I was using something positive into a negative back then, it helped us to have an upper hand on the Crips and Bloods and whoever else was against us back then in the 80s and mid 90s.
Right.
It's just something that I learned that you gotta have family. You gotta have family. Mm-hmm. You gotta believe in everybody. But the old saying is, just because you're family doesn't make us kin. Same thing as all not your folks, as we say in the disciple world. So it's the same thing. That's why you got to divide and figure out who's with you, who's not. Because jealousy is excuse my language, is a motherfucker, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, everywhere. And it doesn't matter what organization. You get what I'm saying? Either with you or you not. So